Alright. Dun 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 dun. Why do I do this shit when it's recording?
That is the intro right there.
Why do I do this shit when it's recording?
What is going on, everybody? Taylor here, and I am joined by my special guest today.
Hello, everyone.
This is Jacob.
It is me.
It is him.
It is I.
He has returned. So, we are going to talk about a movie today that we have some not so great feelings about. Unfortunately, we're going to be talking about Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes. And going into this movie, I was a little bit unsure of how I was going to feel about it, just because I had heard the reviews from other people coming out that it wasn't the best, that they were kind of disappointed with it, but I also wanted to go in trying to be positive because I did have a fun time with the first one, even though it didn't completely blow me away, and I wanted to go in not expecting bad things, because I've tried to avoid that, where I want to have an open mind going into stuff, especially in the Harry Potter world.
Yes.
What would you like to say about this movie?
Well, I was the same. I walked in, look, I wasn't the biggest fan of Fantastic Beasts. I thought it was fine.
Right.
I thought it was very much... it was nice to be back in the Harry Potter world, but clearly J.K. Rowling isn't a screenwriter. She's a book writer.
Right. Which is completely different.
Exactly.
Completely different.
And I think, again, this movie has proved she is not a screenwriter, and she needs someone with her to help her write the screenplay, because she has too many ideas to fit a 2-hour film.
Well, I would agree with that. I feel like that is this movie's biggest downfall.
Yep.
Is that she has a lot of ideas, which is great, but that doesn't always translate well to screen if you don't know how to use that time, and you don't know how to kind of, translate that.
And I thought, look, I thought it was nice to be back in this, we go back to Hogwarts, we go back to, we're introduced to a lot more characters that we are familiar with.
Yes.
Which I feel is very much the film's going, hey, okay, we're back in Harry Potter.
Here's the ties you were waiting for.
Here's what you wanted from the first one.
Right.
Which, okay, fair enough. I don't think it was needed. I thought it was nice, and it was cool, and it was good to find, hey, it's with Grindelwald, and okay, that's cool. But this film just had a problem of a bad screenplay. It was a bad script. To
me, I sat there at the end and said, we didn't really go anywhere.
No.
We spent all this time with this movie, and we either met characters or, were with characters again from the first one, and all this stuff happened, but it didn't get us from a point A to a point B.
No.
There was no, real journey there.
The closest I thought someone had to a character arc is Newt. Yeah. Newt has he has the semblance of a character arc, and there is a line of dialogue that is very, very... there is a line of dialogue at the end that is very much this was my character arc, and you do not believe it whatsoever.
It's not earned.
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff in this movie is not earned.
There is a lot of things.
It expects you to just accept a lot of things that, once it happens, you don't feel any of it. It doesn't evoke any sort of emotion, where it should. There are moments where you should be very emotional that something is happening, specifically towards the end of the movie when everything starts to go crazy. You've all seen in the trailers, if you've seen the trailers, pretty much how the end of the movie is going to go down, and none of that feels earned. We were both sitting there, and we see that part come up that you've seen in the trailers, and you go, oh, crap, this is the end. This is the end of the movie. This is the end of
the film, and it's, wait, hang on, This is it?
It didn't feel like we built up to it.
No.
In the sense that there was any sort of stakes. Real stakes, where you feel like you're about to lose something. Like, there's something to lose. Yeah. Basically.
It felt very much it felt like a middle chapter. Which, look, I'm Empire is a middle chapter. Two Towers is a middle chapter.
Right,
Like,
right.
you can do fantastic middle chapter films.
That are still getting you somewhere
Yes.
and giving you a purpose of...
Yeah, and I felt like this film, the purpose of a middle chapter film is your story cannot be great in a middle chapter film, but you've got to then go, all right, because we're focusing on characters.
Right.
You've got to give me the characters.
Right.
Here, I learnt not much about Grindelwald.
No.
I learned absolutely nothing about Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Newt is Newt, the same Newt, and he gets an arc, and
But-
it's not an arc. He's the same character at the start of the film than he is at the end.
He is.
Except for one minor change
Very minor.
that you don't believe.
And you don't recognize it.
Exactly.
Like, if you looked at him at the end of the movie, you don't really see
There
it.
is one character who does change that I didn't think they earned at all.
No, I don't think so either.
And they make a decision that I just straight up was like, well, that's stupid.
There were a lot of those in this movie where I kind of sat there after certain reveals and certain decisions, like, where you finally understand them.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know how I feel about that because I don't really know how that fits or I don't really know if that quite works.
Yeah.
And I really feel like this next movie, the third one, is very make it or break it. Like,
for this franchise, definitely.
Yeah, for the
yes.
franchise as a whole, this third movie has a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight on its shoulders now, where it has to deliver a lot of things that could have at least been, where the weight could have been lifted a little bit had this second chapter, really kind of even stripped itself down a bit in terms of, okay, these are the 3 or 4 characters where we're going to really focus on their arc, and we're really going to give you, where you understand that there's a journey here.
Yeah.
Instead of just throwing out a couple sentences here and there and expecting, oh, so they earned this
exactly.
thing
And,
that you don't know anything about.
Obviously, Letta Lestrange is in this film.
Lita
Lestrange? I think it was Lita, yeah. Played by Zoe Kravitz. She's in this again. Like, she was briefly mentioned in the first one. She's in this. Newt's brother is in this movie as well.
Theseus. Yeah.
They do bring in a few new characters that you felt, and then they try and do stuff with them that you feel would have been more impactful if they were introduced in the last film,
right.
or at least started to build that relationship. It didn't have to be a
big thing.
No,
but just kind of make it tied in a little bit, so that when they come up in this movie, you're like, how were they just completely missing?
Yeah, exactly.
In the last movie?
I didn't quite buy the relationships that they had, and I thought, and the film, like Lita and Newt, I thought was fairly okayly done. I thought I understood it, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see where they're going with this. But then there's other stuff that they do with it, and it makes no sense. And I just was confused, and
they just made some choices that they never backed up.
No.
Like, there was never any, like, they would, say it or show you the situation of it, and you're like, well, wait a second. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, they just come out of nowhere. And you're kind of just confused. You're just confused.
Yeah.
At least we were. We were very confused.
I think, look, I think I would not... I understand now why there's been a lot of negative reviews.
Yeah.
To me, and mostly this review has been negative, but because it's one of those films where, while I was watching it, I have the most rose-tinted glasses when it comes to Harry Potter.
Oh, I do too. I'm so bad with that.
And you need to take everything I'm saying here with a massive grain of salt. Harry Potter means the world to me, so I will enjoy a film simply because I'm in that world. And so if you are not a massive Harry Potter fan, I can't recommend this.
No, I can't either, because especially if you're not super familiar with Harry Potter, or even if you haven't seen the first movie, or if you have but you're not familiar with the Harry Potter world, generally I can't recommend it either, just because even for people like him and myself who know a lot about this universe, who've read the books, who've seen the movies a bajillion times, there were still things where we had to like double check with each other about that
afterwards, and we were like, is that has
that been mentioned before?
And there is the whole, so there was a relationship in this film that has literally never come up in any other film, book, anything.
Nothing.
Except every Harry Potter fan knows about this relationship because it was revealed after the fact. And the movie expects that you know that relationship after the fact.
And you believe that it's there.
Yeah, and it was weird. It's this weird... I've never seen a franchise do that before, where they go, hey, we know that you know about this because it was a massive news story.
Right. And if you aren't savvy with the internet and you don't follow that kind of stuff, you would have no idea.
Yeah, you would have no clue.
Idea. And it's not, even with this, with them introducing it, they still don't really do much to establish it to make you believe it.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really even, if you're jumping into this not really knowing anything about it, this movie's not going to explain it to you.
No.
At all.
Yeah. So, like I said, look, if you're a Potter fan, obviously you've probably already seen it.
Or you're planning on it.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Yeah, I can understand that because... And you'll probably walk out going, it was fine, or you enjoyed it. I can see Potter fans walking out and enjoying this film.
Or being like us and saying, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. But if you are not a Potterhead, you are not going to enjoy this film.
I don't think so. I don't think they can get away with people walking out of this movie who aren't super into this universe and enjoying what they saw. I just don't think so. So we're just going to kind of stop there. We're not really going to go into spoilers just because first of all, there's way too much to talk about. Yeah. Like, this would be like a 3-hour video. Yeah. And second of all, for those of you who haven't seen it yet and still want to, I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to, put things into your head more than we have about expectations or relationships or things like that. But please leave your thoughts in the comments if you have seen it. If you haven't, let me know what you're looking forward to. If you're wanting to go see it, I want to hear from you guys, kind of see where you're at with it, especially if you're huge Harry Potter fans. Yeah. I'd really like to know your opinions. So thank you guys for watching this. Please come and find me on social media. I would love to talk with you guys about it there too, if you don't already have me on stuff. As always, you guys are the freaking best. Seriously, you guys mean the world to me. You support me all the time, which is fantastic. And we will see you all next time.
We will.